Good morning, everyone. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning in Fairfield, Iowa. I am going to tell you a little bit about an eco-village that's here in Fairfield. It's called the Abundance Eco Barn, and at this place they have some small homes. They're all off the grid, but they also have a community garden, and that's what I'm going to be talking about mostly. This community garden is primarily a methodology called agroecology and grow biointensive. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this technique because it's important to know and why they do it. Grow biointensive has been around for thousands of years. It has some Vedic tradition in it. Also, it's just a very practical, simple methodology to grow organic food. The first thing I want to talk about is why they use this biointensive technique at this eco barn. And the one thing is, it is sustainable. It's totally, there's no outside inputs coming in. The first step, the most important thing about grow biointensive and agroecology is the number one thing is they grow the soil. The soil is all clay here, so you have to regrow the soil. In nature, it takes about 500 years for soil to regenerate. But when you're using compost and other methods of the manure, chicken manure, and other inputs like your local inputs, you can grow that soil in 5 to 7 years. And so that's why it's important to grow the soil first. Number one thing they do is they dig. And they dig about 24 inches down as opposed to just the 5 or 6 inches that they usually do with a tiller. But this allows the plants to go very deep, and it penetrates further down, and so it has more water, more nutrients. And at the same time, you can do what's called companion planting or tight spacing planting. And there's something called the Three Sisters, for example, where you have a stalk of corn. You may have some beans that is climbing up the corn and also some squash at the bottom. So you have 3 plants in 1 square foot. And so that tight companion planting allows you to increase yields by about 70%. Going deep into the soil allows you to get the water, so you're saving about 70% of water with this methodology also of grow biointensive. So that's the technique these people are using. I'm going to show. There's not much to see, unfortunately. The ground is already frozen in Iowa, but I'm going to show you a little bit about the eco village. That's the building where they do their training in there, and it's all windmills and solar, some tiny homes. Those are pretty big right there, but on the other side there's about 20 homes that are all off the grid and living off of this community garden. So I like the process. Unfortunately, the ground is frozen and there's nothing really to show you. I could just talk about the techniques and what they're doing. So that's agroecology, and there's so many challenges right now that's happening and we're facing. And a lot of the big corporations like Patagonia, the founder of Patagonia, is saying right now that there's only one way to really save this earth, and to start to do agroecology and regenerate this soil. So that's a big part of saving the earth and climate change and helping the immune system of the earth. But it also allows people to have food security, food independence, with a very small garden. When areas like Colombia, Africa, Guatemala, when you got more than one season, sometimes you have 3 seasons of harvest, or 4 seasons even. When you got 3 seasons of harvest in a place like Guatemala, you can, with a bed that's only 3 feet wide and about 30 to 40 feet long, with biointensive companion type planting, with that bed you can produce enough food for a family of 4 with 2 to 3 beds. That's an amazing statement. And by the way, that cost of starting that little garden with 3-4 beds is probably about $20. So for $20, you can feed a family of 3, 4, 5 people forever. So this methodology of organic growing is effective and also very sustainable. There's no outside imports or fertilizers or genetic seeds. So the whole process of saving seeds, growing compost, saving water, preparing, regenerating the soil is all about Grow Biointensive. And this is what this eco village that I'm at visiting in the morning is all about.